Fire for your mind. Kosherclinician.
Seven grieving over the death of her husband while seeing him as a simp subconsciously. Many men work themselves to a grave, and many of the women simp them out until they are departed. Why Kevin Samuels left this mindset partially.
And I've said that on every live. I said, if I've ever become a widow, I'm never remarrying again. How long was I married for? 20 years. The girls are fine. They're healed. They're good. We're moving forward. And part of the reason why they can heal and move forward is because I didn't tell everybody when it happened. I just let people do all their talking and trolling and all this kind of stuff. But at that time, those things were happening to us. And so we just really didn't talk about it because crazy people on the internet. Yes, I'm a widow now. He was older, much older. We had a big age gap relationship. But we were married for 20 years. He was a provider. I never had to pay no bills. He was a good guy, and he will be missed. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Kevin Samuels missed this core talking point in expecting men to pay all of the bills.
I want her to respect your masculinity and your manhood because you have an XY chromosome. It don't work that way. Women respect resources. You can't check a bitch because you got nothing to check with. The only place you dominate is in the bedroom. Dominate on the balance sheet. Dominate on your wallet, which is your accomplishments. Any woman that you choose to deal with, her money should be no good with you if you're 100% man. You pay everything.
I didn't agree 100% with everything Kevin said. I don't believe men should pay all bills unless that man is getting something in return. If he's getting a higher value, a higher quality woman in return, yes, pay all bills. But you gotta understand, Kevin Samuels at one time was a simp, and I'm not saying this to denigrate Kevin, but Kevin will tell you that Kevin went from being a simp to being a multi-millionaire, high-value man. Kevin went from being a simp to a multi-value, high-value man. And so Kevin Samuels was not raised in a home where he had a father like I version of himself. But what's happening there, women like Lisa Ray and some of these older women, they've either had kids or ran through, they want to tell men, they want men to pay all the bills. And, Kevin Samuels was a brilliant man. I love Kevin Samuels. But
how can women, Lisa Ray, before they get married, are there any telltale signs that you can warn women who are dating wealthy men what they can look out for in case he is involved in some shady financial scams?
First of all, he's not going to let you know because a real man is just like a drug dealer. The girlfriend don't know about his drop off and his people that he get his supply from. He keeps her out of that because that's the man's thing. That's his position. Let me tell you, I have, had a drug dealer or two, back in my day. And I didn't know and ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen nothing. I can't tell you. And one of the officers that questioned me was like, well, you didn't see him getting up going to work every day. I said, I don't see you getting up going to work every day either. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean you ain't working. You know what I mean? Maybe I did turn the other cheek or whatever. Yeah, okay, I did know. But still, I had never seen anything. You know what I mean? So that therefore, I could never be in the middle of anything. And I'm sure he thought about that. If they question you, you ain't gonna even be able to say anything because you ain't never seen nothing. He kept me out of it. So your businessman is the same thing. They're not gonna let you know so that you under pressure and you gotta tell. No, I'm gonna keep you out of it, period. So it's protection is how they're thinking about it.
For your time, because being a content creator it's hard. It's not an easy job. So it's definitely psychological manipulation. It's what the current culture is telling men they should do. But masculine men don't let women tell them what the standard is. She become what the standard is. And if she don't become the standard, then that's fine. That man keep going on to the next woman. That's why I get perturbed when I hear some people say level up. I say level up for what? Now, should a man level up for himself and level up for what's best for him? And leveling up to put himself in a position to get the best woman that he can get, and the best woman that he can get based on standards that are symmetrical to what he worked in, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But leveling up for whores and leveling up for ran through women and leveling up for women that got kids by other men, what am I leveling up for? You know, what am I literally, because let me tell you something, people, like, what my father got back in the day.
I did go ball without you. I just say bye, then I miss you. Wanna control what I do. She's such a beauty with issues. Baby, we can make it so simple right now, yeah. Something in your past must be weighing you down. So your attitude, they be bossy. Feeling like the past, keep on pulling back. Baby, they no longer the old me. I do anything just to hold you. Maybe you too bossy. I just wanna hear you say you want me. You know how to get me with that body. Baby, keep it simple, you too bossy. Girl, we go way back. Can't treat the love like a payback. Working on the trust, so I get that. Nothing come close to my baby. You've been through a lot, hate to see you down, yeah. Only thing that matter is we got now. So your attitude, they be bossy. Feeling like the past, keep on pulling back. Baby, they no longer the old me. I do anything just to hold you. Maybe bossy. I just wanna hear you say you want me. You know how to get me with that body. Baby, keep it simple, you too bossy. Maybe you too bossy. I just wanna hear you say you want me. You know how to get me with that body. Baby, keep it simple, you too bossy.
This beauty nothing compares. She put me under her spell, yeah.
Hit that like button and share this stream if you're not a beta male. Fire for your mind. Kosherclinician.
If it ain't seven, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up and young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues, absent fathers who miss you, mama drama don't kiss you, all a part of the ritual, this is how they get you, separate the men, women clipping babies pretend to, damn, lovers, haters acting like vultures, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us, if it ain't seven, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is Kosherclinician. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosherclinician. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosherclinician. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosherclinician. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen.
All right, guys, thank y'all for tuning in, guys. We're going to have a good show on today. Thank you for the 24 that are watching. And shout out to my man Kyrinsky, my man Quiet Faith, and all the brothers that show love and donated on yesterday. Guys, we're going to get into it. I want to really get deep into this conversation real fast on today. Not going to be before you guys long. As I planned, as I said, as I'm a man to my word, I told you guys I was going to do a show about how Kevin Samuels went from a simp to a multi-dollar millionaire. When Kevin Samuels, guys, died, it's reported that he was worth about $5 million. And, you know, Kevin is very polarizing. There were men that loved him. There were people that loved him. Those were those that hated him. I respected the man 100%. But we live in a world now where you either got overly emotional men that can't think and they're slow, or you got unaccountable women. And see, here's the difference between me and my so-called detractors. You guys are not on my level. I'm educated. You're not. You're not a licensed therapist. I am. And if Kevin Samuels was alive, I would have told Kevin the same thing as a brother. No disrespect to him. But see, I got a good friend that I talk to all the time. He's my brother, and I love him to death. My man, Peaceful Life. Him and I don't agree with everything. We agree with a lot of things. I would say at least 95%. But I don't go along to get along. That's a fool. But we got a generation of emotional men that can't think critically and unaccountable women. And when you have these conversations, they don't add any nuance to what you're saying. They just get in their feelings and, they don't have your education, don't have your accolades, don't have your wisdom. And somehow, intellectually inferior people going to tell me something and they didn't go to school like I did. They don't have my logic and reason. And they don't even have the social skills to have a conversation. Now, let me go back and reiterate to those that are slow. There's only a certain percentage of woman, a certain type of woman, in my opinion, because I got my right to have my own opinion, that deserve all bills paid. As a therapist, I see it all the time, men that have paid all bills to the slow folks that are listening. And those same men that pay bills to the slow folks that are listening, they're now going through divorce, they're losing their children, and they didn't get the respect they thought they would get by paying all bills. Women that have had a lot of fun, got daddy issues, were not taught to be wives by their husbands. I don't care if you pay all bills, she's not going to respect your leadership as a man. And I said it once and I'm going to say it again to the slow folks. There's an ego defense mechanism called introjection. A lot of men that were raised by their mothers have been introjected. And that has nothing to do with the quality of the man or some of the things they talk about, because two things can be true. To the slow folks who don't know, Kevin Samuels advocated for therapy. But see, the problem with people now, if you're a therapist and don't agree with their feelings, then somehow you're not a real therapist. You're a horrible therapist. And some of these fools don't understand that, I deal with professional people. I even deal with celebrities. But when you're telling the truth and try to confront schemas and bad thoughts, some people, they don't respond with logic. They respond with insults. And they respond with insults because they've already lost the argument. A man that can give you a cogent conversation based on logic, then he explains his position. He doesn't hit you with ad hominem attacks because he's dealing with cognitive dissonance. So once again, two things can be true. Kevin was a brilliant man. He was smart. He was very intelligent. He would study other content creators. And he took pieces and he made the Kevin Samuels Show. Got talking points, some from Tom Likas and other big content creators, And he did the work. He worked hard and he got big and he blew up. But see, Kevin Samuels is not the panacea. And once again, we can have conversations and disagree and still like people. But we live in a world now, you got to agree with a person 100% to prove you're loyal to. No, I'm loyal to my family members, but I tell them if I disagree with them. That's what real men do. But some of you, because you weren't raised by real men, you think like women, you get overly emotional and you get unaccountable like the women or the mothers that raised you. And see, I'm not like that. I don't mind being accountable. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't mind saying that. So once again, only a certain type of woman, in my honest opinion, you don't have to agree with my opinion, but I'm telling you what the standard was 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 50 to 60 years ago. Most men in America, when they got married to women in the past, and I'm sure Paul Elam would agree with me too, because he's a rational, logical psychologist. And I'm sure Dr. Ryan Teraband, who is also a doctor, would agree with me as well. Not somebody on the internet that don't have my accolades, don't have their accolades, and don't have any skill and haven't been to school and taught. I'm not going to debate with people that are not my intellectual equal, because you don't know what you're talking about. But what men got years ago, because see, the world always can tell you what a real man is and what a real man should do. And people that always use a qualifier, a real man, many times they think like their mother that told them what a real man was. That's a clear sign of introjection, because they'll say what a real man will do. What a real man really does is do what a real man want to do. What a real man really does is not let other weak men tell him how to be a man by their shaming tactics. What a real man does is that he holds himself accountable and he holds the woman in his life accountable if she's going to be in his life. What a real man does is tell the woman what his standard is, and either she can be part of the standard or she can go to a weaker man that will accept her with a weaker standard. That's what a real man is. Because see, real men do what they want to do. Weak men do what the world tells them to do. I'm a real man. I'm a real G. I do what I want to do. And if those, and I'll tell any of my friends, content creators or not, and if Kevin was alive, and that's no disrespect to him, because I respected the man highly, I would have told him the same thing, that you have been impacted by ego defense mechanism called introjection. And I got the evidence to prove it. Because you don't see things through the lens of masculinity. You see things through the influence of your mother. And I got the evidence to prove it to the slow folks that are not licensed therapists like myself. You're not dealing with this a regular content creator. You're dealing with a person who went to school, worked in law enforcement, taught school, studied people, can see patterns of behavior. And that's the problem with some of you, sofa clinicians. Don't know what you're talking about and highly ignorant. And when somebody tries to explain something, instead of listening to understand, you only listen to respond. And then when you don't like it, you try to start hurling insults. Like you're going to do something to me physically. You're not going to do anything to me physically. I'm 6'5", 280 pounds. You would never say that to my face. Because see, I'm a man before I'm a therapist first. I worked in prison. I worked in law enforcement. I taught school. I've done it all. I'm a man's man. And what a man's man would do is tell other men to their face in a spirit of respect, I hear you, brother, but I don't agree with that. That's what real men do. Real men hold other men accountable. They don't just go along and get along and tap dance. That's not a real man. I got homeboys right now. I love them to death. But if I disagree with them, I'm going to tell them to their face. And they can either be in my life or they can leave. That's fine. I mean, but you can never say I want real. I'm just going to be real with you. So only a certain type of women qualify. To you good men that are listening and to the women that have done the work and you've been striving for your husband, y'all deserve one another. But that's a small percentage of men and women. I would say it's more men than women that are like that. But you got a generation of women that say, she got to cook and clean. Man, women years ago cooked and cleaned. They still didn't get all bills paid. My mother was a virgin that died last year. My mom cooked and cleaned and she didn't work. And my dad took care of everything. But guess what my daddy got? My daddy got a virgin. She was wife ready. She didn't have no kids and she was not ran through. And she was mostly wife ready. She didn't do everything right, but she was superior to most women. My grandmother was that way. My aunts were that way. A lot of them were that way. But we got a generation of men that have been indoctrinated to think like their mothers, and then they hold men to a high standard because they never saw their fathers in their life. And this, Kevin Samuels talked about it. His dad wasn't in his life. And I'm going to show you guys the evidence to the slow people because Kevin tended to identify with his mother's talking points. That's not an indictment to Kevin. He's just a victim of his environment. And if he was alive, he would say, yeah, I agree with you. He would say, I agree. But I don't believe in this premise that just because she's a woman, she deserves all bills paid. No generation of women have had all their bills paid while the man stay home. Back in the day, most men and women worked together. There were black women that worked outside the home, worked for the white people, cleaning their houses up. The black man and the black woman worked together. They worked in the fields, sharecroppers. And the woman still was a feminine woman. She still honored her husband. She still respected her husband. So are there women that qualify for all bills to the slow folks? Yes, there are some women that qualify. But this just because do you qualify? No. If a man that has money and status is work hard, he's 54. Why would he marry a woman that's 54? She can't give him kids. She's not a virgin. Many times they're not wife ready, and they want to see that man as a retirement plan. So that woman does not deserve all bills paid because she's not giving that man anything in equal value. Fair exchange is no robbery. What a lot of folks don't understand is that Kevin Samuels would have never married a woman like Sherra 7. Sherra's 7 husband just died recently. But Kevin Samuels would have married a younger woman. Allegedly, when Kevin Samuels died, he was with a younger Latina woman. So Kevin Samuels wasn't trying to marry women his age. Now, listen, if that's Kevin's standard, he wanted to pay all bills. If a woman's not a virgin, that was his right. I don't knock a man for that standard. I'm just saying I'm not going to do it. And I'm just saying men that are very rational and logical, they shouldn't do it. They should raise the bar high, just like the women got the bar high, and not settle for mediocrity. If men start raising the bar high, I know some of you were raised by women, you don't know any better, but I was raised in a home with my dad, and my dad didn't tell me everything, but I did see my dad work hard and take care of his family. Did he do everything right, masculine? No, most men did. A lot of boomer men in silent generations, they didn't, when mom, wife would get out of line, sometimes they would just want to say nothing. But I wasn't like that. I love my mom. Me and my mom would clash sometimes because I'm just built different. So one of the things people got to learn to do, which I know it's hard to do, because after I was in law enforcement, I was a special ed teacher. I dealt with people that had special needs, and I'm not trying to be funny, but one of the biggest issues that men that are raised by their mothers have is that they lack emotional regulation. They got testosterone, but they don't have, they have the chemical abilities of having high testosterone, but emotionally and logically, they think just like women. And so when you got a volatile man with testosterone and emotional, he's dangerous. I expect a woman to act that way in part, but not a man. So they don't think critically. True men that are in your circle will tell you if you're wrong. That's what real friends do. The book said that open rebuke is better than secret love. So once again, you're not talking to a person that's a YouTube guru or an armchair therapist. You're talking to a real licensed therapist. They didn't go to Chicken George State University. I went to an elite school. And so don't come on my YouTube page talking that talk because you don't know what you're talking about. If you want to have a cogent conversation that's based in logic and precision, then fine, we can have a logical conversation. But once again, I don't believe men should pay for all bills. Only certain types of women deserve, in my opinion, all bills paid. And I'm going to prove it to you guys in a minute. Give me 1 minute. Only certain types deserve all bills paid. Shout out to Bashir in the chat. Shout out to that dear sister. No doubt, keep it kosher. I got to keep it kosher, J385. It's about time somebody comprehended where I'm coming from. I don't know what you mean by that. Yeah. Soa C said, yeah, kosher big dude. I thought he was tall, but yeah. Kevin also agreed with a talk about Sherazade Ali as well. Yeah, no doubt. She's going to be alone for the rest of her life since her meal ticket has gone to the upper room. Bashir said, my maternal grandmothers were married for 59 years until my grandfather passed away. My grandmother would fuss at my grandfather, and he wouldn't say anything. yeah, you're right, Bashir. Yeah. Some men of that generation were afraid of their wives. But I'm not like that. I'm going to say what I want to say. If I'm going to be the man in my family, I'm going to say what I want to say when I want to say it. I wish a woman would try to tell me how to be silent and not say anything in my house and in my family. So once again, people that are smart and people that can think, they can think outside of their emotions. They look at things logically. If you're going to be a kosher king, you should strive to get the best of the best of the best of the best in a woman. If you've done the work, you work hard, you went to school. You should never settle for certain types of women in America. If you can find a good sister here in America that meets your standards, marry that woman. Make her an honest woman. Only thing I'm saying, that in general, most don't qualify for all bills paid. And I stand on that. And let me show you guys some of this, because once again, to the slow folks, I am a licensed clinician, unlike a lot of them. I'm a licensed therapist. And let me flex on them for a minute. Hold on.
Yeah. Shut up, kosher. Yeah. Shut up. Whoa. Shut up, kosher. Ballin'. Take it back. Like it's game time. Game time. Locked in when it's game time. Yeah, I'm ballin'. Like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. I put in work, couldn't wait for my bag coming. 3 whole years and these records keep running. Don't talk to me if you can't match the numbers. Ballin', like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. Yeah, I'm ballin', like it's game time. Locked in when it's game time. I put in work, couldn't wait for mine.
Thank you, guys. Let me show y'all the evidence. I'm going to show y'all the evidence to what I'm talking about, because how many of y'all looked at the show yesterday? If you looked at the show, hit 1. If you watched the show on yesterday, hit 1. Because sometimes I realize, maybe, I don't know, maybe I need to get out of this space, man, and start dealing with intellectual people. But listen to what Kevin said to a video years ago. And I listen to what he's saying, and I study what he's saying. Kevin said, stop playing it safe when men simp. Kevin Samuels evolved. Kevin Samuels was married twice. Kevin Samuels talked about the dangers of men marrying baby mamas, because Kevin said it was a thankless job. Why did Kevin Samuels marry a baby mama? Because Kevin Samuels was introjected. His ego defense mechanism was to see things through the lens of his mother and her suffering. So therefore, he didn't have no constitution outside of his mother's identity, like a lot of black men do. And that's why I said it can be dangerous. And that's why I respected Kevin, because he advocated for therapy. But everybody have dark spots. All human beings, including myself, we can have what's called dark spots. And one of his dark spots was this all-encompassing notion that if a man is a man, he's going to pay all bills. I disagree with that. I see it all the time, once again, in therapy. I know men that have paid all bills, and they still didn't get the outcomes that they wanted. Because if there's a system that don't hold women accountable, if there's a system where a man can lose everything that he got, Kevin Samuels talked about being divorced twice, and I'm sure he paid all the bills then. I mean, someone was trying to mock him. What outcomes did he get by paying all bills? Nothing. And it goes back also to the woman Sherra 7. Let me tap this down for a minute first. Hold tight.
7 grieving over the death of her husband.
Now, Sherra 7 got a man that paid all bills. But it appears to me that Sherra 7 reduced her husband to a commodity. She reduced her husband to just a commodity. Some women only see men like a wallet. He's just a wallet to do what I need him to do, a wallet to, a real man to women now is a man that does what the woman think he should do based on her selfish emotions. There's a concept, guys, called godless worship. And godless worship is very demonic. It's the debasement of the masculine and the aggrandizement of the feminine. It's a divine feminine. Men are supposed to worship the woman and do what the woman say. Happy wife, happy life. And to the slow folks, once again, I'm going to show you that Kevin Samuels, even though he was a brilliant man, and even though he went from being a simp to a millionaire, some of his talking points still came from what I would argue, well, a few of his talking points. Let me qualify that. There's a small portion of his talking point that came from a condition called an unconscious simp. A lot of men are unconscious simps. And an unconscious simp means to supplement irrational male, not men, male patterns of behavior. Because a male does what society tells him to do. He has no constitution outside of others' approval. That's where you get the nice guy syndrome from. So Kevin Samuels was evolving. He did evolve. And Kevin had a beautiful Latina woman. But Kevin had some dark spots too. And I'm just examining this thing from a clinical perspective. Not an armchair therapist, but as a licensed clinical therapist that went to an elite school. I'm not paying all bills for a modern woman, and neither should you, unless she qualifies. Wife ready, virgin, no children, emotional regulation. She respects her father. She respects the elders. Or a woman that got very low bodies, under 5. And then I will argue, if you don't pay all the bills 100%, you should strive to pay at least 90. But you got to negotiate what you want. This is my list. This is what I think, I'm willing to do. And if she don't want to do it, fine, keep it moving. Because a lot of these men that do that, let's say if that man lost his job tomorrow. Let's say if that man lost his job, he became sick, like Sherra 7 husband did, worked himself probably to an early grave. I'm not going to say the woman is not grieving, but it seemed very cold to me that your husband died, and the only thing you could say he was a good provider and sprinkle. That to me is weird. Because basically, in my mind, you reduce that man's masculinity to just being a paycheck. So let's reverse it. Let's say if she lost her beauty or she had a double mastectomy, as I said on yesterday. Should that man say, well, you're getting older now. You got a double mastectomy. You're postmenopausal. I gotta trade you in for a younger woman. Is her femininity only based on her beauty? The Bible says that charm is vain and beauty is deceitful, but who can find a virtuous woman? So Kevin Samuels went from being a simp to a multimillionaire. Listen to this again. Hold tight.
While seeing him as a simp subconsciously, many men work themselves to a grave, and many of the...
How many men you know have worked themselves to a grave under that onerous banner of what a woman expects a man to do? A man's masculinity is not based only in being a provider. That's why I've never been I understand the concept of the high value man. He's only a small percentage. I get that. But making money alone does not make you a high value man. It's part of it. It's part of it. But you can be a high value simp. And I'm going to show you guys in a minute. You can be a high value simp. You can make a lot of money, but you're still a simp. You still a broken man. You still don't know how to execute in your masculinity. You still don't know how to set parameters and hold women accountable. You still get with lesser than women when you should be trying to get the best women based on your social market value as a man. If you got millions of dollars and you're a millionaire, you shouldn't be settling for lower tier women. And I'm not talking about lower tier as it relates to money. I'm talking about lower tier as it relates to character. I'm not saying you can't get a woman that works at the Waffle House, but she's a feminine woman. She has no kids. She has no children. She's hardworking. She was raised right. And she's either a virgin or got very low bodies. I'm not saying you should marry a woman like that. But the typical woman that's liberated, masculine, liberally indoctrinated, don't respect her father, got daddy issues. You mean to tell me I'm supposed to pay full price for that? That makes no sense. And that's why I said I don't believe a man should pay 100% of no bills. Only certain women meet that criteria. If you're an old woman my age, I'm 54, like shout out to Peaceful Life, I'm not paying all bills for a woman my age. I'm not doing that. I refuse to do that because you can't give me kids. You're not a virgin. I'm not doing that. Will I pay a lot of the bills based on how I value you? Yes. But am I going to pay 100% all? No. Because that's not fair exchange. A woman is not going, if a man come in and say, well, you know, I don't feel like I should have to protect you. That woman's not going to submit to that man. Some of them don't submit to him anyway. So why should I pay all bills? But listen to this woman. It seems very cold to me that she reduced her husband only to paying bills. Hold tight.
Women simp them out until they are departed. Why Kevin Samuels left this mindset partially.
And I said that on every line. I said, if I ever become a widow, I'm never remarrying again. How long was I married for? 20 years. The girls are fine. They're healed. They're good. We're moving forward. And part of the reason why they can heal and move forward is because I didn't tell everybody when it happened. I just let people do all their talking and trolling and all this kind of stuff. But at that time, those things were happening to us. And so we just really didn't talk about it because crazy people on the internet. Yes, I'm a widow now. He was older, much older. We had
and see what older women like Sherra 7, that's why I put on the thumbnail. Kevin Samuels was not checking for the kind of money Kevin Samuels had. He wasn't checking for a woman Sherra 7's age. He was checking for younger women. Young women, he probably didn't have the standard that I have. But Kevin always said that name something that depreciates in age. Name something that depreciates in age and still want the same value. A lot of these women should have been married and settled a long time ago. Or they should have stayed with their husband outside of her being abused. But they got divorced for dumb reasons, like I'm not happy or I don't love him anymore. And now they are older, on the market, more set in their ways, more damaged, and they're demanding the best of men. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And a lot of men will say, nah, I'm good. I'm not paying full price. I see it all the time in therapy where men pay full price and they're still going through the divorce court right now. Paul Edom is a man's advocate. I'm a man's advocate for masculine thinking traditional men, not weak-minded simp men, not men that can't think outside of their emotions, not men that can't have a cogent conversation without trying to ridicule somebody. I'm not talking about those kind of weak men because they're weak. Don't know how to think. They think just like their mama do. But I'm talking about masculine men that can think. That's what I'm talking about.
A big age gap relationship. But we were married for 20 years. He was a provider. I never had to pay no bills. He was a good guy.
And let me tell you something. This pay no bills. You got a lot of men like her husband that probably worked himself to an early grave, paying all bills for a woman that probably wasn't a virgin, probably was ran through when he got with her. A man that probably saw his masculinity do her affirmation, happy wife, happy life, to a man that probably thought he couldn't do no better. That's why I tell men to travel. When you travel abroad, there are beautiful women that are feminine, kind, fit. They're not perfect. Foreign women are not perfect. A woman going to be a woman wherever you go. If you're a broken man in America, you're going to be a broken man abroad. But those kind of women understand their assignment. They're more traditional. Black women years ago were very traditional. They're not traditional anymore. They took on the mantle of liberal white feminism or liberal white women. And they assail black men under that dumb standard. That's why marriage rates are plummeting, relationships are plummeting. Men don't care anymore. Because a true masculine man, if you're going to be with a masculine man, you're going to follow his program. It ain't going to be no happy wife, happy life. It's going to be happy us, happy life. And a lot of this mess, once again, is highly demonic. It's witchcraft. And it's expecting men to worship at the feet of women, which goes against the image and authority of God. Jehu went against Jezebel and her emissaries. Jezebel was a wicked woman. The Jezebel spirit can be male or female. But in this case, it's female. And so Jehu was a warrior. I have the spirit of Jehu. It gets me in trouble. I'm always under scrutiny because I got a Jehu spirit. But I don't advise no man to get married in this current economy unless the laws change radically and the woman meets your standards. Too many men I see suffer in therapy because the parameters don't favor men. A lot of women play the long game. They wear the chameleon mask, and they once you put a ring on their finger, they pull the mask off. Some conservative women are that way. Some, we know the liberal ones are that way. I'm not saying all of them, but some are. And then once you're stuck, you're stuck. But I would never get married again in this current culture. Not to a woman like Sherra 7. Because see, once you take all that makeup off, take off that Spanx, take off the lipstick, and really see what she really looked like, you're gonna say, I'm paying full price for this? What man is right mind gonna pay all the bills for that when a man that got money and stats can get something younger and prettier? Because that's what Kevin was doing. Kevin wasn't advocating for women his age. Kevin was checking for younger women. Allegedly, when he passed away, there was a younger woman in his room or in his house, not a woman his age. So do the women that say, well, Kevin said pay all bills? Well, yeah, he said pay all bills. But he wasn't talking about women his age. He was talking about younger women. Because once again, women, they still want to be hypergamous. Nothing wrong with that. But then when the man says, okay, I'm hypergamous when it comes down to physical beauty, then all of a sudden it's a problem.
And he will be missed. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Sprinkle, sprinkle. Does that sound cold to you guys? If that sound cold, hit 1. Does that sound cold to you guys? Hit 1. Because that sounds very cold to me. Let's listen to what Kevin is saying. Hold on. Let's listen to what he's saying. Now, this is Kevin 8 years ago. Now, remember what I talked about, guys. I said the core talking points was an ego defense mechanism called introjection. Once again, I know people don't agree with my talking points, all my talking points. I'm okay with that. But I promise you, if you went back and talked with women of yesteryear, the women of old would tell you that the kind of women that Kevin Samuels is the same paying all bills for were wife-ready women. They were virgins and they didn't have kids. And women years ago were still feminine women. My dad talked about it. They were feminine. My dad is 82 going on 83. And they still understood the importance of family duty. It wasn't about paying all bills and staying home. No woman's had the luxury of a man paying all bills and staying home. Women now don't want to work, and they want all the benefits of wholesome women, but you're not wholesome. It's not special about the average modern woman. Are there diamonds in the rough? Yes, there are some women that are diamonds, undiscovered gems. My girls are like that. But on average, they're not. I'm praying that my daughters get with good, high-value men, because my daughter's going to give them something in return. They're virgins. That's how I raise my girls to be. Smart, pretty, feminine. And I know we live in a different world and a different time, but I'm gonna prove my point because I want to let people see that Kevin Samuels was introjected, and Kevin, even though he evolved from a simp to a high value man, because to the folks getting their feelings, Kevin Samuels talked about how men shouldn't be simps. He talked about it. Let's look at his title. His title: "Stop Playing the Safe. Why Men Simp." And he talked about being a simp. At one point. Hold on. I don't know why this thing is popping up. Hold
on. Can you go ahead and explain why guys continually simp for women and the dangers of simping? Okay. For people who don't know what simping is, it basically means being a fool for a woman.
Right.
Being a fool for.
Now, to the slow folks that are listening, this is Kevin Samuels talking. I know some of you are slow, but to the slow folks that are delusional, Kevin came up with his term of being a simp. I made it more exquisite as a therapist. You got a conscious simp. A conscious simp is what Adam was. He sacrificed important masculine principles to please that woman. That's happy wife, happy life. The conscious simp knows what he's doing is wrong. He knows it's stupid, but he doesn't have any mental constitution. He don't want to argue with the woman like Bashir was talking about her granddad, so he just go along to get along. But see, when you go along to get along with your wife, you're not leading her. Her emotions is leading you. Masculine men, it's hard and it drains you, but masculine men said, "Damn, we're going to have to weather the storm. If I'm going to work hard, you're going to follow my leadership." The unconscious simp are boys and men that have been introjected as an ego defense mechanism. When you try to give them talking points, they don't look at you logically. They project out of anger. Because anytime a masculine man that's grounded and cerebral see things outside of their feminine hard drive or their mental pedagogy, meaning mama was right, Tupac said, "Dear mama," then they got a problem with men like that. I used to work with boys that were juvenile delinquents. And they used to hate me because they are not used to structure. Anytime you would try to give them structure, they would try to fight you. I had to pull a couple of them down. Now I want you to listen to what he said. Because a lot of men have gone to the grave early being simps, working hard for women that don't qualify for that.
A woman, and putting her needs above yours to the detriment of yourself. Why guys do it? We do it because it's safe.
Did you hear what he just said? To the slow folks that want to argue and debate with me. It's safe. You don't have to fight. And like I said, Kevin believed a lot of the things that he believed. I wish that Kevin was alive and him and I could talk as men. And we could have met and chopped it up. And I would have gave Kevin a free non-diagnostic consult. I would have gave him a non-diagnostic consultation. And I would have challenged his talking points from a therapeutic perspective. And him being a smart man, he would probably say, "Yeah, man, I agree with you." Because Kevin advocated for therapy. I didn't know it. Some said that Kevin shouted me out. I never heard him shout me out, but some of the guys that know me say he is shouting me out. Me and Kevin were basically the same age. We both were OGs, man. And maybe he would have listened, maybe he wouldn't. And if he didn't, it's all be civil and respectful. That's fine. What masculine men understand, we're not going to agree on all things. My war cry on my channel is this. I said, whereas men, we don't agree on all things or ideologies. I got men in these spaces that I don't agree with 100%, and they don't agree with me, and I'm okay with that. I still like them. But I'm not going to damn just go along and get along and tap dance. I'm not doing that. I don't bow to no man. It ain't too many men I see as my equal. I can respect them as men, but I don't see them as somebody I'm going to, tap dance and bojangler from. I got mine straight from the mud. I got life experience plus comprehensive education. And I understand that I'm an anomaly in this world. I'm rare. I'm rare. I'm a dinosaur. I've always been a dinosaur. Not because of my age, but because of my wisdom and my thinking is more traditional, old school. Listen to what Kevin is saying.
We do it for a lot of reasons, but if you were born after 1970, you were raised in a world like I was, where equal rights amendment, women were independent, all these other things. And a lot of people were raised by single parent households, and women, we were taught to be nice guys.
Did y'all do the slow folks? I don't know what I'm talking about. But I had to prove it up, show it to the slow folks that don't listen. Because, see, I'm a therapist. You're not. You're just somebody that's spewing off ignorant emotions. That's called introjection. The nice guy comes from Dr. Robert Glover's book, No More Mr. Nice Guy. The nice guy is not really a masculine man. He's a simp. He just wears a mask to please people. But that's not what he really means. That's why when the nice guy don't get what he wants, he crashes out. There's a difference in being a nice man and a good man. Jesus was a good man, meaning he was kind and he was compassionate, but Jesus would get crunk and tell people about themselves too. That's why they nailed him to the cross. A nice guy is a fake. He just go along to get along. So once again, Kevin went from being a simp to a millionaire. Did Kevin probably still have some small simp tendencies? Yes, because about paying all bills, I don't believe in that. And I would have challenged him psychologically to that premise. Once again, men like Paul Elam would tell you a man shouldn't pay all bills. Men like Dr. Ryan Taraban. Dr. Ryan Taraban is a therapist. I would love to interview him too at some point. And actually, I'm gonna bring the video up by Dr. Ryan Taraban in a minute. Dr. Ryan Taraban said that the modern woman wants to be treated like a lady while acting like a 304. That's what Dr. Ryan Taraban said. And I agree with him. Only your grandmothers and your great-grandmothers deserve to be treated like that because they were good women. Modern women have been indoctrinated, and Kevin Samuels is right. Listen to what the man is saying.
Respectful of one, open the door, all those things. Guys before knew how to do that stuff. They didn't have to be taught. They just learned it from their fathers and the family and the society and culture. Well, women taught their sons how to be men. So obviously you got a generation of softer men
and they taught them how to be men from a woman's perspective. That's why Kevin believed a man should pay all bills. Because Kevin said that it gives the man leverage and power, but I would say it really doesn't. You could pay all, listen, I'm not against, we understand that women like resources. I'm not against men paying bills. I'm not against that. We understand women like leverage and women like resources. Women by nature are survivalists and they're nesters. They love to nest and they love to feel safe. That's how they're wired. But a lot of women, and can paying bills help her be feminine? Yes, but paying bills, if you're a masculine woman and you're an antagonist at your core, you can pay all bills all you want to. That woman ain't gonna respect you as a man because there's no accountability and there are no guardrails to hold her accountable. But I know what I'm talking about because I'm the kosher clinician. I'm not just talking like an armchair therapist. I'm a real therapist.
Firstly, a generation of harder women. Well, when you leave your mama's house and go to school, that's the first time a lot of guys were around boys. Then our boy tendencies started to pop up and manifest themselves, so especially if you were like me, an only child, it was just me and my mom and around her sisters. Oh my God, it's a wonder.
Listen to what Kevin is saying. To the slow folks out there, listen to what he's saying, because I don't know what I'm talking about. I just talked about introjection on yesterday. I'm going to pull that video back up. I just talked about it on yesterday. Kevin was a victim of an ego defense mechanism called introjection, where he introjected, internalized, and identified with women. Always be weary, guys, of a woman to tell you what a real man should do without telling you what a real woman is going to do to that man. Women don't get to determine what the standard is for masculinity. The Bible said that he that finds a wife finds a good thing. Either you're a wife or you're not a wife, and most are not wives. It's not all their fault, but it is their fault because they're rebellious. They're broken. They didn't even listen to Sherra's Ali. They don't listen to no women. They call the women that try to guide them pick-me's and mammies. So, I hear all the positive people, the kumbaya Negroes, they're talking about let's come back together. It's not going to get better because the system is broken. When this man passed away, they celebrated his death. Even though all that he was trying to do is get black folks to come together. But a lot of men disagree with Kevin on that. Because a lot of men say, what am I coming back to? Am I coming back to wholesome women, or am I coming back to ran through women with baggage and trauma? So, once again, the world never asked the black man what he wants. Because your granddaddy and your great-granddaddy and your great-granddaddy would have never married the typical woman now. My daddy said he would never marry. My dad, 82, he would never marry these women now. He wouldn't even look at them. That's how men back then, when we were in high school, certain women we just didn't look at. If you were a baby mama or you were promiscuous, men didn't look at you. We didn't look at you as for wife material. But anytime men start telling their story, women get in their feelings, and they don't because they're emotional, they unhealed, and they try to shame men with shaming language and, calling folks out of their names because they're undeveloped, they got arrested development, they got insecure attachments, and they haven't properly healed. But you're not going to tell a masculine man what his worth is. Either you're going to become the standard or you're going to be on the sideline. And most of you can't become the standard. And even you can't become the standard, you should develop your soft skills as a woman. Because some men, black men especially, black men got low standards. They take the worst of the worst women because, they were raised to be simps. And if you got your soft skills right and you were genuine, you might get a decent man.
And turn out to be gay. And so I've heard a lot of people say that. But I don't, that.
And that's probably where Kevin Samuels got some of his feminine mannerisms from. He was raised by women. It won't Tyler Perry the same way. And once again, when they hear talking points outside of their mental pedagogy, then they project because their brain can't handle the fact that a man is challenging what mama said. How dare you challenge what my mama said? Because they don't have a daddy. Everything is through the lens of mama. It's not through the lens of masculinity. It's through the lens of what my mama said. My mama said it. Not what a man said, but what my mama said. My mama, she said it. That's how they see the world, guys. Hit the like button and donate to the channel, guys, please.
It's a subject for a whole nother time. And look, I'm conservative on some things. I'm liberal on some things. But I really, really do believe in men should be able to be men. And when we're out, and when you're in high school, you have your friends. When you go to college, that's the first time a lot of guys get a chance to really be themselves. You join fraternities, you go party, no parents around, nobody to supervise. Guess when a lot of people had their most success in relationships with women.
And he's right. Men haven't had the gravitas to be their authentic selves. They haven't had the gravitas. They have not had the gravitas to be their authentic selves. Yeah, shout out to Quad Storm. Quad Storm said, I'll never pay 100% for these ran through women. I don't care how amazing they claim to be. Now, she had a zero body count that can be discussed, right? Either she's a virgin, or I would say Quiet Storm, she got low bodies. But even when it got low bodies, she don't. In my opinion, she doesn't qualify for 100% of bills. Men got to start raising the standard. Men, we are the arbiters of relationships, not her. We don't care what she wants. Listen, that's like a fat kid going to a candy shop talking about he wants some candy. You're not getting no candy. You can't afford it. Women years ago understood they had to be a certain quality of woman to get a top-tier man. But they don't sell you feminine virtue. They sell you degrees. They say, once again, I got my doctorate, not doctorate, but my doctorate, my master's, and my bachelor's. But what does that body count look like? How many deletions have you had? Do you got kids by other men? Do you got trauma? Do you got unresolved daddy issues? Do you have a personality disorder? They don't want to talk about that. They're just talking about their doctorate. They just talk about their doctorate. They just talk about their doctorate. That's why I say I don't take a woman. I don't listen to what a woman say about trying to dictate to a man how a man should be a man. men do what a masculine man does what he want to do. You don't care what no woman say. You just laugh at him. We don't care about what no woman say about what a man should be. This is my kingdom. And you can either be part of my kingdom or you can find a simp that you can condition and tell you what the kingdom is. It's not your queendom, it's my kingdom. And if you come into my kingdom, then you're going to be well taken care of, but you're going to follow the rules of my kingdom. Not your partner, but you're going to be my wife. And if you can't be my wife, you're free to go get with somebody else. That's fine. Go be with somebody else.
Why? Because you're around other guys. You're out in a group. When men are broke, we pile around. We have clubs and stuff. But look what happens after college. We all get domesticated. We leave college. We go to work in a company. Automatically, you're not around groups of men anymore. Even your fraternity brothers, even your boys. You move to a city. You go work in a company that has a culture that is very much like our society. Then you get involved in a relationship. All of a sudden, you got a bunch of men walking around like neutered.
Once again, let me address something. I'm gonna be gentle. So Miss Sam Leaks, you say you have to respect your woman too. Who said anything about not respecting a woman, dear? Once again, you're not listening to comprehend. You're only listening to be emotional. Respect is earned. If you're listening, if you're not slow, now if you're slow, I understand. I clearly said that women that respect a man is going to be well taken care of, and she's going to be highly venerated. But see, Miss Leaks, you, like so many other women, just think by default, because you have a vagina, that you should be treated special. And it doesn't work that way, sweetie. Every woman got a vagina. Every woman got one. Some are tight, some are loose, some smell, some don't. Some women got good cat, some got average, some got bad cat. But outside of that cat that some of y'all gave for free to other men, what is that man getting? See, the world, Miss Leaks, have not asked men fundamentally, what do you want? What can I give you to earn the right of marriage? I don't advise no man to get married in this culture. Number one, it's too dangerous. I'm talking to clients right now. See, you talking feelings. I'm talking about real life outcomes. You don't see the men that are broken when they come to me in therapy. It's not that they don't want to get married, but what am I to get married to? Women that have been conditioned to be independent outside of a man's leadership. And a man got to leverage his masculinity to make her happy. What fool would take that when that's clearly outside of biblical authority? Even if you don't believe in the Bible, there's still traditional cultures where the man is the leader. Let me show you something. Because I challenged the women on yesterday. Now, let me ask you a question, Miss Leaks. Do you think a man should pay, if a man gave you an old dress that was used by his exes, or, he pledged his love to you in an old dress? Because, see, a white dress symbolized that a woman was a virgin, she was pure. We would say that 95% of the women there are not virgins. And they're definitely not pure. Even the ones that have not been virgins physically from the cat, they might not be virgins from the mouth and from the other side, the excrement side. So once again, Miss Leaks, I would challenge you respectfully. And I say this all in the spirit of respect. I'm not trying to assail you in a negative way. Would you as a woman take a used dress or a used ring that a man gave to another woman and expect and see that as high value? You want to take a used ring that he gave another woman that ring? Because that will offend you as a woman, or a used dress. But somehow you want a man to pay all of your bills and you're not a virgin. And you probably ain't got under 5 bodies. If you got under 5 bodies, then we can negotiate. We're going to negotiate maybe 90% of the bills. But it ain't going to be no 90% of the bills and you just decide you're going to keep your money. No, it don't work like that, sweetie. If I'm going to pay 90% of the bills in this culture where the world, where the courts destroy men, I'm going to be monitoring that money. You're just not going to take money and just stack money while I'm working like a dog. Because let me tell you, men, something I've learned in relationships. Women respect men that hold them accountable, but also men that make them earn the relationship. Women get comfortable, and men get comfortable too. Some men get comfortable, and they take their wives for granted. But a lot of women get comfortable, and they feel like they ain't got to work no more. So if you're in a relationship with when a woman is not earning that relationship, she begins to psychologically, consciously, and unconsciously diminish you as a man. And the next thing you know, you'll be in divorce court. So if you don't want a man to give you a used dress or a used ring, then don't give that man a used body. Because in fair exchange, Miss Leak, there is no robbery. See, you, like a lot of modern women, don't want to give men fair exchange. Fair exchange would mean you come to the table sexually exclusive to that man, no kids, no bodies, following his leadership, y'all building together, and he protecting you and loving you. That's the way the old school did it. But see, the new school want to be modern. They want to be a 304, and they still want to be treated like a lady. Doesn't work that way, dear. That's taxation without representation. And that's why men are saying, screw it. And folks get mad. Oh, you don't know. You're not going to tell men how to be men. I will never get married to the average American woman. Number one, she doesn't qualify. I work too hard to become the man that I am. Men got to work like dogs to earn their value, especially black men. And if you're a masculine black man in this culture, they're going to try to destroy you. That's why they're trying to destroy, shout out to the young buck, Jeff St. James. Jeff St. James is mild compared to me. He's a good guy. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being objective, and because objective men speak the truth. But they're trying to get that man to lose his license because he's telling the truth, and he's just being objective. But see, modern women, Miss Leaks, don't want the objective truth. The Bible says they hate me because I tell them the truth. These goofy pastors now, they don't tell you the truth. Your girlfriends don't tell you the truth. That simp boyfriend you got ain't gonna tell you the truth. But see, when people love you, Miss Leaks, they tell you the truth. And you do what you want to do with it. When the master teacher came into the world, they said, what shall we do with him? They said, crucify him. They hung the master teacher, which was Yeshua HaMashiach. They killed him because he told the truth. They took out Dr. King because he told the truth. They took out Malcolm X because they told the truth. They lied to Kevin Samuels, Miss Leaks, because he told the truth. And if you take the truth, then you'll grow and you'll elevate. But most can't hear the truth because they have arrested development. And it is what it is. I need you guys to hit the like button and show some love to the kosher clinician. Hit the like button and show some love, guys.
Zombies. We remember, it's like caged lions. That's a better thing. If you look back and see, look in the zoo. There's nothing worse than to see a lion that's in a cage and they feed it. If that lion was born in captivity, that's one thing. But a lion that roamed on the prairie, on the Serengeti, that's a whole nother thing. Guys, we all have that lion in us. But we have all been programmed and taught that being a nice guy is the way to be. That's why we end up simping. Simping is a symptom of programming.
All right, what's the most valuable thing you can do as a trader? I would argue the single most valuable thing you could do is find.
So when I was telling the story.
And he's correct. It is a byproduct of programming. He's 100% correct. Kevin Samuels is 1,000,000% correct. It's a byproduct of programming. It's called indoctrination. It's called the wussification of masculinity. It's called the commodification of subjugation. They see men as commodities only to be subjugated. ATM machine is always about telling a man what a man is. But once again, a woman don't get to tell a man what a man is. You can't tell a man what a man is because your psychology is not the same as his psychology. Your psychology is going to always come from a very solipsistic perspective, which is about how he can please you. But President Kennedy said, don't ask what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country? That's what Kennedy said. And that's why the black community is in shambles now. And to all my pacifists and all those that are positive, I'm not against you being positive, and I'm not a nihilist, but I'm a pragmatist. The master said, you can't take new wine and put it into old wineskins. You got to change the wineskin first in order for the new wine to be in the wineskin. Because if you put new wine into wineskin, old wineskins, then the wine is going to leak out. And the reason why relationships are leaking out now, because the foundation is broken. Many women now don't know how to build a house or a home. The book said that a wise woman builds a house, but a foolish woman, she tears it down. And that's what modern women do now. They tear it down because they don't want to hear the truth. And when this man died, they laughed at him. They mocked him. Some of them probably were dancing on that man's grave. And that's why I'm telling you men now, do not cast your power to the typical woman. Because once you're dead and gone, she'll be with somebody else trying to get his retirement and stressing him out. Most do not qualify to be loved, and most don't even qualify. But sure, no, I'm not against you getting your master's, dear. yeah, nothing wrong with getting your master's and your doctorate. No, nothing wrong with getting your doctorate, your master's, but sure, nothing wrong with that, sweetie. You can get your master's as long as you understand your master's does not have anything to do with your femininity. It's just a vehicle for success for your husband. Your master's is a way to honor your husband more, not to usurp his authority. So there's nothing wrong with your master's, even if you want to get your doctorate with a T on the end. Make sure you guys y'all hit the like button, show some love to the channel, please.
Stories yesterday about how I would go from, doing what a guy should do to being this nice guy and end up getting abused and mistreated by women. That was an internal conflict going on in me of me trying to basically fight against my programming. Another thing though is even after a guy knows better.
Miss Leaks, maybe you are slow. Let me educate you on something, dear. Maybe you don't know what the grooming process is. Once again, he defines a wife, in case you're slow, and maybe you're slow. If a man is going to make a woman his wife, she got to meet qualifications and standards, Miss Leaks. So maybe you didn't have good comprehension skills. But he defines a wife. What is a wife? A woman that has emotional regulation. A woman that's striving to be like a Proverbs 31 woman. She might not be one, but she got some virtues of a Proverbs 31 woman. A woman that does not see her beauty as the final end. A woman that has emotional regulation. A woman that loves her family more than she loves her fickle feelings. So men look for those virtues. A woman that's a nurturer. A woman that has emotional regulation. A woman that can say she's sorry. A good friend of mine said, Miss Leaks, that the black woman haven't said she's sorry since Anita Baker made that song called I Apologize back in '89. Sherra's all Ali been damn trying to fight for couples for years, and they didn't even listen to her. So that lets me know right now you don't understand your role in the place as a woman. You were not taught properly because you're not equal to a man. You're equal as a human being, but you're not equal in biology and psychology, and that's probably why you're single or you got a simp.
We go back to simping because it's safe. We know how to simp. That's it. We just know how. It's no different than why don't people go work out at the gym? Why don't people eat better? Why don't people, dress better? It's not a matter of knowledge. Arguably, we're the most knowledgeable society that's ever existed. We have access to information like no time before in human history. It's not a matter of information. It's a matter of if I change, I'll have to do something that I'm not familiar with. And I'm familiar with being a simp. I'm familiar with being a nice guy. I'm familiar with doing the things that people want me to do to be acceptable. And I know what I get. Now, here's a twist. We get comfortable with it. It's kind of like, think about all the sayings we have in our world.
Miss Leaks, let me educate you on something there. You said that purity is not based on body. Ma'am, you come off being real slow. Is a man or a woman part as a man or woman whole? I clearly said I gave qualifiers. Your mind, body, and spirit should be pure. But being a virgin is a high market that men pay premium prices for. Men don't mind paying dowries and high prices for virgins. Or they don't mind, if you're out of traditional culture, they're going to pay higher than that. Now, like I said, that lets me know you're not listening to understand what I'm saying. You're just listening to respond. And that means you're dysregulated. That means that your parasympathetic nervous system is dysregulated. That means that you need a blanket. You need to get under a weighted blanket and get some magnesium glycinate and get some therapy, man. Because, you pal ain't going to change the fact that men determine what they want in relationships. And you know what? What I've learned, guys, don't waste your time. Miss Leaks, you want to come out? I'll chop it up with you. In a few, if you want to, I'll drop the link and you and I can talk. And I'm not going to berate you, but I'm being funny. But at the same time, I'm being serious. You can't be that slow. But maybe you are that slow. I don't know.
If you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. Be content. Keep the car you have, and the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. All of these things are little subliminal cues to keep us stuck and content. So as a man, when you hear another man telling you, look, women like sex, women like men, women like confident, intelligent, assertive men, and they want men to act in a certain way that's counter to what we've been told, it goes against everything we know, and it goes against us being safe. That's why you get guys saying, I'm not going to do that because I'm afraid a woman will slap me in the face. I'm afraid she'll throw a drink in my face. Look at YouTube. YouTube is a great example. I am a professional menswear stylist, but I have a tremendous amount of information to give to guys. I have to think about the content I put out there because I can put some stuff out there that YouTube doesn't deem.
This leak said women love simps. Yeah, you're right. They do. They love broken men. You're right there. They love broken men. Anyway, yeah, it's okay though. Respect coach. It's very interesting when I see female therapists come on YouTube and want to critique the red pill and manosphere without talking to the men in the space. You actually spoke to those men. Yes, I have, Gregory. And it's good to see you, Brother Greg. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Thank you for tapping in, brother, and showing some love. Shout out to Brother Gregory for that $20 spot. It's Gregory, Sir Gregory. I call him Sir Gregory Scotland. It's the number one sponsor of the stream. Shout out to Sir Gregory Scotland. Yeah, shout out to Brother Gregory Scotland for showing some love. And yeah, it is what it is, man. She said what kind of therapist I am. That's funny, man. Oh my goodness, funny. Shout out to my man, brother Top Gun. Been a minute since I seen my good brother Top Gun. Thanks for coming in, Top Gun. She said, why is this man trolling you on the first Sunday? It's a woman, I think. I think it's a woman, I'm Quiet Storm. I think it's a woman. You're 100% correct, Quiet Storm. I'm Top Gun and Quiet Storm. The wife's behavior is evident of the type of woman she possessed. That God needs to look. Yeah, they need a consultation. But listen, they're not coming to me for a consultation because they don't want to hear the truth. And it's okay. That's a woman. Miss Leak said that women love simps. Yeah, you right. You do love them until it's time to divorce them and take half of everything they got. Shout out to Lost in Translation Podcast. Shout out to that brother. Shout out to Lost in Translation Podcast. Yeah, no real woman wants a simp. Because a simp is not going to tell her the truth. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Exactly. Sower seed. But listen, man, to y'all single men, my heart goes out to y'all. To the single men, my heart goes out to y'all. That's all I can say. I would never get married again in this culture, man. If me and my wife don't make it, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not married to nobody. I'm just gonna wait to die and be close to God, unless I go abroad and get me an Asian or an African woman.
Appropriate or friendly. I don't cuss a lot. I don't use a bunch of negative words, but even the concepts I'm talking about, they don't want me talking about this right now.
Yep. And Kevin was saying this, guys, 8 years ago, Kevin was saying this. Kevin was saying this 8 years ago. And the world is worse than that. That's why, like I said, when those talking about, oh, come back and to the man, there's no black community. You can't have no community without the consent of the man. If I ever write this book, Black Love Without Consent, when did we consent to ask the man what he wants? Because we don't care about what men want. What you guys seeing now is some demonic. It's demonic. It's demonic. It's about the subjugation of men and the worship of the divine feminine. That's what it's about. He said, yeah, I'm done. I'm getting one from Southeast Asia. Yeah, Musa, I agree with you, brother. I would never get married to an American woman again. I would never waste my time being stressed out to an American woman. You know, you don't want a woman that wants your cornbread. Because these American women want your cornbread. I'm not saying Asian women are perfect. No woman is perfect. Women are going to be women wherever you go. If you're broken in America, you're going to be broken abroad. But this is what most men want.
Hey, girl, you gonna eat your cornbread?
Don't say nothing. You talking to me? Yeah, I think you're talking to you.
腰はひねって S 字型。
They want feminine women. They don't want women that want their cornbread because a man cornbread is his power. See, an Asian woman will cook the cornbread and give it to you. But these American women want your cornbread. They want to cut your cornbread, tell you how to eat your cornbread. not your cornbread, but they're giving you cornbread. So it's a waste of time, man. It's a waste of time, man. You know, all that you could do is laugh at them, man. It's so funny. I don't even take it personal no more.
Guys that talk about this kind of stuff end up having their channels demonetized, their views skewed off, their channels just aren't as popular. Why is that?
We're Phoenix Energy, a family-owned oil company focused on unleashing American oil from North Dakota.
Now, women...
Now, let me tell you guys something, and I'm glad Kevin said that. Let me explain something to you guys. To all my listeners, that's partially probably why my channel hasn't grown. I mean, you know, it's not that I don't want to talk the truth, but it's dangerous. I shouldn't even be talking about this stuff because it's risky. It's controversial. Your channel won't grow as fast. And me being a professional, I can get targeted, like Jeff St. James is getting targeted. And so to everybody that always support me, I struggle with doing this kind of content. Not because I'm afraid to do it, but what am I doing it for? Because I got more to lose than what I'm going to gain by doing content, telling the truth and speaking truth to power. It's easier just to do reactions and just call it a day and make your bank. Because there's money to be made in YouTube. And I've been doing man content for the last 5 years. And so before I compromise, I'll just stop doing it. But the world we live in there is highly litigious. And Kevin was saying this 8 years ago. That's why Kevin had to evolve. That's why men that speak truth to power, when we tell men to support the channel, it's risky. But listen, as a professional therapist, I make a certain amount of money an hour. And my talking points are counterintuitive to most modern talking points as a clinician. There are some people that love me and they want a masculine perspective, but a lot don't. And if they don't like what you're saying, they'll try to shut you down. And so to all my loyal subscribers, don't ever think I'm afraid, but I got to be wise too. And I got to ask myself the question, is it even worth even talking? A wise man has changed, but a fool won't. So am I thinking about maybe doing another channel and do light content here? Yeah, I'm thinking about doing another channel at some point. Because once again, I didn't get into YouTube just to be average. I got into YouTube to be successful. And me being a professional, I take a risk showing my face, even though I'm not doing nothing wrong. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just talking about black issues in the black community. See, most therapists see things that are white do what's called a Eurocentric or ethnocentric perspective. When I do these shows, it's called edutainment, clinical concepts mixed in with urban topics. But when you think about the time you put into doing it and the risk, it's not worth it. Not because you don't want to do it and because you don't love the brothers and the good sisters, but it's not worth it when it comes down to your livelihood and what you could lose. So I got to be more careful, and I got to continue to properly assess how I'm going to move moving forward. Because y'all heard what Kevin said. Kevin said it, but Kevin didn't have a license. Kevin didn't have a license to lose. I do. I'm putting my livelihood on the line doing this stuff because I want to see people win. But maybe at some point, I'm just going to start say, you know what, I'm just going to drift away. I won't compromise, but I might say, you know what, I'm going to focus on doing something totally different. Not because I don't want to do it, but it's not worth it. I make $150 an hour as a clinician. That's what I charge. I charge $200 for couples therapy. I don't always get it because the insurance doesn't pay it. But I talk with famous people, and I talk with the average common man in middle class, and they all going through the same issue. But somehow when I bring it to the forefront, I'm the bad guy. You got Dr. Helen Smith. Dr. Helen Smith, shout out to her. She's watched my content. She loves it. There are people that try to silence her. They try to silence Dr. Jordan Peterson. They're probably Dr. Ryan Taraban. Some don't like him. He's been casted out because this stuff is not necessarily psychological. It's also spiritual. It's spiritual warfare. And if you're not a born again believer, it doesn't make any sense to you. It's warfare. It's Luciferian. Listen to what Kevin is saying.
Who talk about women's stuff and women's empowerment, those channels get millions of views and subscribers, but guys that have the nerve to talk about, guy, put yourself first, empower yourself, be a man, take charge of your own life, be confident, intelligent, assertive, be learned. All that stuff, you would think that would be a good thing. No. It's challenging to the system we were raised. I was raised in that SIMP system. So I could go on and on and on and tell you story after story after story. But let me just say this. Because we are guys, let's just throw some numbers up.
Yeah. Tanya Stevens, it's obvious that maybe you're not that intelligent as well. But, truth now is the new hate. Tanya Stevens. Because everything I'm talking about is biblical. But because you're biblically illiterate and you probably don't read your Bible, you don't know what I'm talking about. You don't know your role. And so anytime a man tells the truth, it's hate. If it doesn't assuage your feelings, then it's hate because, a true therapist is going to point out your cognitive distortions. And most don't want their cognitive distortions pointed out. Anytime men say anything counterintuitive to a female narrative, it's hate. But yet women can say, I want a tall man. If a woman say, I want a tall man, Miss Stevens, is that hate? If a woman say, I want a man that makes six figures, is that hate? If a woman say, if a man is not tall enough, is that hate? See, it's always hate when men have standards. But when you got your standard, then it's a preference. That means that either you're delusional, you're mentally ill, or you're slow, or a combination of all the three. And it's not your fault. It's how you've been indoctrinated. Maybe that's what it is. Because any logical woman that has any sense and is balanced will know that I'm not talking about hate if they listen carefully. But you don't listen to understand, you only listen to respond. And that's why you probably are single and don't have a good man. If you do got a man, you probably got a simp. And it's okay.
Not to brag about anything, but by the time a guy reaches his mid-30s is when he really starts to understand what it means to be a man. By the time you reach 40, you really become a completely different person. You become a whole man. You know how to get stuff done. You know who you are. You're self-actualized. So in your teens and 20s, a lot of guys, we're about getting laid and making money. And it's easier to get laid to make money, so we keep score by stuff. I went through that phase to where, we had competitions to see who could score the most with women. And, when you start getting up over...
Yeah, quiet storm, man. Listen, man, I don't have my time. I'm not gonna waste my time talking to uncultured, uncouth people. Shout out to my man Quiet Storm. He said that I've been vigorously enjoying my Venezuela. That's my brother. I got nothing but love for this brother. Him and I have been friends for 5 years. We're not this. He's not been a supporter, but he's a friend that I love and respect. And I'm happy for you, man. I'm glad you got you a young woman. And shout out to Soto Kamian. He said, have you considered a fan-based apps platform? Yeah, I'm gonna look into that, brother. Let me write that down. I'm gonna definitely look into it. And guys, I might start having to switch up to some degree, because I just realized it's a waste of time, man. These chicks ain't gonna change, and it's okay. We're so far down the rabbit hole that it's a waste of time. Let me see, fan base. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time, and it is what it is. Let me tell you what you gentlemen can do, and to the righteous sisters, just don't respond or just check out. The writing is already on the wall, and they still don't see it. Just like Pharaoh, the writing is on the wall. So shout out to Quiet Storm, man. I'm so happy for you, brother. He's a real one. Shout out to my brother Quiet Storm.
When you start having numbers in the triple digits, you know, on one side I was thought to be proud of that, but on another side I felt kind of ashamed. I was like,
Yeah, Gregory, you're right, and that's why I'm going to start reconsidering doing other stuff. You know, I'm not trying to mess my livelihood up, even though I'm not doing nothing wrong. But the way people see, Gregory, people now have a condition called confirmation bias. Regardless of what you present them in the clinical, we call it empirical, collaborative empiricism. But regardless of what you present them, they're not going to respond to it. So what I realized is that YouTube is huge. You don't have to. When I first came into YouTube, Sir Gregory, I thought you had to do man content to get money. You don't. It's huge. There are many niches you can get into and make big money. You can become a millionaire. And so I'm gonna start thinking about doing other things. I might use this platform just to, you know, periodically talk about social commentary, but I'm not gonna waste my energy and waste my and potentially put my license on jeopardy. Even though I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm not doing nothing wrong. But who got time to be going to a review board and trying to prove a point because some rabid liberal go in and try to report you like they're trying to report, which they can report because I'm not doing nothing wrong. I'm not doing nothing unethical or illegal. But that's how wicked people are now. So you don't go to school for 15 years, 18 years. You know, it's just not worth it when you get 54. And you're right, it's hard to build a platform. That's why they laughed when Kevin Samuels died. Now, Greg, if you're coming in, this is what I said. I don't believe a man should pay 100% of all bills unless a woman meets his standards. I would say, Brother Greg, most don't meet that qualification. Some do, but most don't. And because Kevin was raised by his mom, Kevin saw things through the lens of a woman. He didn't see it through the lens of heteronormative masculinity. That's when I heard Kevin saying men should pay all bills. I said, no, that, you know, okay, what is he going to get? And Kevin's position, because like Kevin believed in bringing the community back, and I didn't believe in that because I didn't believe that the current women of this current generation don't qualify to be wives. A true wife is going to come in wanting to follow her husband's leadership. Women now want to tell a man what the leadership is, or they have an insecure attachment, or they got attachment issues, or they got trauma-filled issues, and they come in broken, and every man that try to guide them, they see it as control. If a man trying to lead a woman now, it's control. They don't know how to decipher healthy masculine leadership from control, abusive control. So if you tell a woman, you're my wife, I don't want you to go out there dressed like that, you're controlling me. If you say, if you're going to be my wife, you can't be having a bunch of men around you, you're controlling me. So anytime a man try to lead a woman because they're either slow, abused, or whatever, you're controlling me. But yet, happy wife, happy life is control. Yes, she using tears to cry is control. Yet her talking to her exes and then trying to gaslight you, that's control. But they don't never see anything outside of themselves because they're blind. And so it's like talking to a wall. It's like talking to a wall. It's a strong case of cognitive dissonance. And the more you try to talk to them, the more you then end up feeling like you're going crazy. It's a strong case, Brother Gregory, of cognitive dissonance. It's strong cognitive dissonance. And this is the acronym. Kevin Sams, I guess with the help of BGS, came up with sign language. I came up with one called deaf.
Cognitive dissonance is a condition that happens for a myriad of reasons. Many times in modern America, men and women often do one of the following. They deny the evidence. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They argue to ad hominem attacks, meaning they attack the messenger instead of the message. And they will fight you or flee because they cannot hear what you are saying. A condition such as this, tied into cognitive dissonance, often happens to those that have or lack self-awareness. They stay in a perpetual cycle of arrested development, exhibited by this.
Severe cognitive dissonance, guys. Severe. So I'm going to have to readvise how I moving forward because I got too much to lose than to be on YouTube talking to, people that more or less measure your professionalism based on their subjectivity. Just being brutally honest and being a man, when I do YouTube, I'm just talking as a man. I'm not necessarily talking as somebody giving diagnostic criteria. There's a professional me, and then there's a masculine me that talks about clinical stuff. I'm not acting as a therapist when I'm doing YouTube. This is something I just do for a pastime. This is something I do for fun for black people and black men and traditional black women and white men and whatever. People just want to have talk as human beings. We don't always wear our professional face. We got our professional face, and then we just got our true selves. And we might talk about clinical stuff. Dr. Ryan Teraban is a doctor, but he don't always talk about clinical stuff. But some of y'all would try to, they probably try to get Dr. Ryan Teraban censored. Because that's just the way the world is now. This mess is demonic, guys. And to y'all single men that never been married, you need to just focus on yourself. And if you can't get the woman that you want, go abroad. Go abroad to traditional women that are going to respect you and your leadership. Don't waste your time on the typical average woman here in America. Because, what I've learned, if Jesus came back and said something about women, they would say Jesus not being professional. Like I said, they killed Jesus because he just told the truth. He didn't do nothing wrong. He just told them the truth. And, it didn't go, it went against their indoctrination. And so they took his life. And so that's what they do. They won't be fair. But everything is always, when people say professionalism, I will argue, what does that mean? Because that's subjective. It's very vague. There should be criteria and guidelines to codify what being professional is, because it's subjective. So don't waste your time, man. I'm going to get off this at some point. Hold tight.
That's disgusting. But then I thought about it. I'm like, well, wait a minute. That's nothing to be ashamed of. I just live life. No one told me to be ashamed of it. It was the way I was raised and programmed by the world. You got to be a nice guy. You got to do the right thing. You got to put everybody's needs ahead of your own. Right. Every single relationship I've had, and I haven't had a lot. I've had a lot of women. Trust me, I've had a lot of women. I got some stories that I simply will not tell on YouTube. I've lived a broad life. I've done I don't have a bucket.
All right, so shout out to Gregory Scholar once again. He said, Kosher, there are serious reasons why black men in the Manosphere 2.0 does not show their face, because many dudes' channels got blown up. And yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's something I might need to start considering too. Just focus on basic stuff. Shout out to free agent. Yeah. And I'm not doing nothing wrong, but to my supporters, I might start looking at doing other things, because I just realized that it's a waste of time, man. It's a waste of time. Folks ain't gonna change, and I'm not gonna risk my professional license, even though I'm not doing nothing wrong. There are other professionals like me that talk similar, and I'm gonna show it to you in a minute.
Let's just put it that way. I don't do none of that homo stuff though. If that's what you do, that's what you do, but I don't do that. But the thing is, as you start to realize, when you hear, the first time you hear a woman say, I normally don't do this kind of thing, but you know, the first time I heard that, I was like, oh, okay. But after I heard the 10th woman say, I normally don't do this, I'm like, man, what's the only common denominator?
Let me show you something that makes me furious every time I see it. This is a real tax return from someone making $284,972 per.
Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, other, old, young, rich, poor, American, European, Asian, African. It doesn't matter. The only common denominator was all these women were lying. I normally don't do stuff like that. That is just a conscious clearing, a saying so she can go ahead and get it in. The women that actually are the best, in my opinion, are the ones that are straight up and know what they want. But they're frowned upon. Guys, the world doesn't want us to be straight up because it is not, the world frowns upon masculinity. The point of it is ultimately simping, putting women ahead of your needs, putting anybody ahead of your needs is a bad way for any person to live. Every relationship I had where I actually suspended good, simple thought, and I decided to go ahead and put a woman on a pedestal, treat her like a princess, all these other things, you know what ended up happening? I was happy for about a month because she told me all the things I wanted to hear. You're like no other guy I've ever had before. You're so different. You're so this. You're so that. Then after that, after the new car smell wore off, that woman began to resent me.
Did I not tell you guys that? But they get mad at me. And so, listen, guys, it's like we live in a parallel universe. It's like we live in a parallel universe, man. Start living your lives, man, and just realize that the world that we knew is over. And like I said, you know, I'm gonna still do men content, but I'm thinking about doing a whole new channel, man. Just doing something totally different, man, and make some real money because I'm not making no real money doing this. But trust and believe, I'm not making no real money. I got too much talent to be doing this, man. Not because I don't want to help brothers out, but it's too risky, you know, because folks don't want to hear the truth. If you want your channel to grow and make money, you got to be in the in crowd or do something that's totally different. But the algorithm, I don't know if it really favors man content. So y'all heard it from the horse's mouth. I've been saying it for the longest.
She had contempt for me, no respect for me, because when a woman knows that you will take whatever she does and let her get away with it, she had no respect for you. Simple as that. You out there being a sucker. So, and we're told, be upfront, open, honest with women. Tell her your feelings. No, I'm telling you, hold stuff back from women. Don't tell them everything. Do not tell a woman that, you know what, whatever you do, I love your dirty drawers, and you could do whatever, and I'll take you back. No. First-hand experience, that doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
When you check a woman, when you let them know that you are the catch, not them. You put them on your schedule. You make them jump through hoops.
And here's where I agree with Kevin. See, a lot of women, guys, go into a relationship thinking by default they're the prize. You're not the prize by default. The man is the master prize. The woman is the special prize. I came up with a term, guys, called the prize catcher. Prize catcher. He sees her as his special prize. She sees him as her catch. So she's been caught. Therefore, she's his prize. She saw him as her catcher, and her king, he sees her as his queen. But people are so wicked and delusional now. The Bible talks about reprobates, that you can put the truth on a platter, and they are still rejected. That's the culture that we live in. So when you're dealing with people that are reprobate, and they got unresolved, some got unresolved mental illness, it's a waste of time to talk to them. The Bible said, don't cast your pearls to swine. And I'm guilty of it because I'm petty, but you don't even argue with a fool. Because if you argue with a fool, you become a fool. So to the single men, start living your lives on your terms. On your terms. Because see, Kevin Samuels is gone. He can never come back. He's in eternity now. And hopefully he's in the presence of God. I hope he got his soul. He was right when he left this world, and he's standing before God blameless. But, you know, the world is just weird now. It's like It's the rabbit hole. Down the rabbit hole we go. It's in the rabbit hole, man. And the wise folks understand that the unwise don't understand. The Bible even talked about the wise will understand and the wicked won't understand. So the wicked's not going to understand because they love darkness. So you don't argue with people that have a dark affect because they don't understand light. They got light, but it's dark light. It's not good light. It's dark light. So you waste your time talking to them. I just talk to them because I'm being funny. I'm just being funny. I like to mess with them, but I know fundamentally most of them are lost.
To get to you, they are mentally engaged and enjoy that kind of stuff. Like I said the other day, guy was like, well, you can't walk by and smack a woman on her butt today because the game is so messed up this way. I'm like, when's the last time you tried it? When's the last time you walked up to a woman in a bar or any place? I'll give you an example.
Nobody enters my room without me knowing, and here's why. Bet you can't even spot it, can you? Let me show you. Right here.
Monday, I was in Starbucks. You see me in Starbucks often. Drop dead, gorgeous woman standing in front of me. She's got headphones on. I don't know this woman from a can of paint. She's ordering her stuff, and I say, and I hold my cup up, I was like, I'll have the normal, and beauty here is going to pay for it, right?
Of course they don't like it, Brother Gregory. Of course they don't like that analysis because they're delusional. They think by default they're the prize, but how can you be a prize when you're giving your virtue away to multiple men? See, me and your grandmother and your great-grandmother, and sometime your mother and your great-great-grandmother, those women were the prize. They were feminine women. They were godly women. They were God-fearing women. They weren't ran through. They didn't have kids by other men. They didn't have a bunch of trauma. And they worked and they supported their husbands. They supported their families because black men and black women were working together. But this revisionist history is where the woman is the victim. The black man oppressed her. That's what they were taught in school. And it's always the black man's fault. You know, black men were working with white rich men and they created policies to oppress black women. You know, they always talk about what granddaddy did. Granddaddy was cheating on grandmama. And we know that happened. But if granddaddy was cheating on grandmama, were there not grandmothers cheating with granddaddy that was cheating on the other grandmama? See, they won't talk about that. Because see, granddaddy can't cheat by himself. You know, granddaddy was cheating, but granddaddy was cheating with other women. So guess what? It made those women complicit as well. But we don't talk about women that cheated with granddaddy. Because some of those women knew that granddaddy had another wife. And sometimes grandmama didn't tell granddaddy that child wasn't his. But it's always through the lens of being a victim. Because there's power in being a victim. And, you know, to you single men, stack your money up. Come see me for a non-diagnostic consultation as a coach. Because I'm going to start doing coaching calls. And we're going to get you right. We're going to get you right so you can find you a good woman outside of America. And if you do marry, you make sure she signed a prenup or you don't get into a government mandated marriage. I would never marry under the current law. You could do a ceremony or whatever, but you ain't getting none of my assets. Because these chicks, they don't qualify like your granddaddy qualified. Your grandmama qualified because your grandma wasn't ran through. These women were the greatest, these black women were the greatest women ever.
Fall comes to us in its own time. Fighters keepers, losers we.
These women, guys, they were the greatest women ever. They were the greatest women ever. These women were special women. These women were couth. These women feared the Most High. These women didn't have kids by a bunch of different men. These women didn't give their virtue away. These women didn't put their degrees over their responsibility as being a woman first. So don't waste your time, man. You know, just laugh at them. Just check out, play your video games, work out, go to the gym, get you some pizza, get you a beer, and catch you a flight, man. Catch you a flight. Just catch you a flight, guys. Don't even waste your time. Because you know, professionalism now is always under the lens of woman approval.
Doctor explain
now,
in less than 2.
This man is a professional doctor, Dr. Ryan Teraban. He's a psychologist, like myself. I mean, he's a psychologist. But a man's worth is always symmetrical to how she see a man, what a man should be. That's why they always say what a real man will do. It's always under her umbrella. And shout out to a doctor, Anita Stoppmeyer. She talked about how women are emotionally dysregulated. They come into her practice. They probably call her mammies. They call her a pygmy. They don't like her because she's trying to be rational and logic. So whether it's Anita, shout out to that sister, or any other logical woman that's trying to go back to tradition, they're going to be persecuted. You know, the Bible said all that live God are going to suffer persecution. So if you try to do the right thing in this culture, you're going to be persecuted. So it sees that there's a rich guy on YouTube claims he discovered a racist element on YouTube where if you show your face, only your demographic will see your channel, which is only 12%. That's a good point, man. It might be true. Where if you show your face, only your demographic will see your channel. There might be some truth to that because I know I got good content. I got a YouTube coach that told me I got good content. Shout out to my man Ray Johnson for showing love, good brother, for that $10 super chat. Shout out to brother Ray Johnson for that $10 super chat.
It's the money.
Hold tight.
In me that has gone through the simp, pimp, simp stage, you got to get that simp up out of you. And here's one of the easiest ways to do it. We got to start hanging around more men.
Yes.
Men by themselves, we're like snipers pick off people alone. Look, that woman wanted to pay for my drink. I mean, and here's the thing, I ordered my drink. I ordered my pastries. Her drink was like $4. With my total, it came up to $14. And I saw the guy ring it up, and the lady had stepped off to the side. She was going to pay for my stuff and not have a problem with it. And part of me was like, oh, don't let her do it. Don't let her do it. That's not a good man. But I was like, okay, hold on. Don't do it. Let's just see what happens. Just see what happens.
Because we've been conditioned, guys, to see things through the approval of women. That's why we don't do it. We've been conditioned to see things through the approval of a woman. That's why we don't do it. We don't think we have any worth outside of her approval. And that's not a biblical mandate, and neither is it a masculine mandate. Iron sharpens iron. That's why I do what I do, because there are brothers that need to hear these conversations. I know many men right now that are struggling at the brink of taking their lives. And so the tables is turning. Men are becoming disinterested. They're not dating. They're not getting married. They're just focusing on themselves. And, you know, to the woman that said something about being professional, which is, you know, like I said, I don't, you know, it's obviously sort of on the slow side. Because I'm just talking. I'm not, when I do YouTube, I'm not acting as a professional. I'm just, not for the most part, I'm just talking as a human being. But listen what Dr. Ron Cherubin said.
Gentlemen are dead and are not coming back. Good guys are gone, and so is romance. Who killed it?
So
see, modern women killed romance. They killed masculinity. They killed male leadership. So men are saying, you know, but I'm good. I'm not. I'm just gonna check out. I don't care about no relationship. I'm not gonna take her out on no dinner dates, and make her feel special. I'm just gonna do me. Because see, you know, you should never reward bad behavior. And so a lot of guys say, I'm good. I'm not wasting my time arguing with no woman. I'm just gonna focus on me. I'm gonna get this money. I'm gonna stack it. I'm gonna save it, and I'm just gonna focus on me.
that's the answer to the question that began this series. Where are all the gentlemen? They disappeared when the lady went extinct. And it wasn't men who killed.
And to Tanya Stevens, I guess he's not professional either, right, Tanya Stevens? A doctor in psychology. But see, a man's professionalism is always based on her subjective interpretation. It's not based on any true sense. It's always subjective interpretation.
Her women have proudly fought tooth and nail to escape the social restrictions that define that identity over the past 60 years. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is that modern women want the best of both worlds. They want the social freedom of the product and the
want the social freedom of a 304 and the respectability of a lady. It doesn't work that way, ma'am. You can't be a 304 and expect to be treated like a lady. It doesn't work that way. And like Dr. Ryan Taraban, is saying it. That's why he's a male advocate. That's why Dr. Ryan Taraban is a male advocate. Because he's seen the disparities. He's seen the pain and the brokenness.
Respectability of the lady. And that just doesn't make sense. Like, one person can't be both a lady and a prostitute at the same time. If these designations are to have any meaning whatsoever, they need to be grounded in objective phenomena. And while it's always kind of easy for a lady to become a prostitute, it's very, very difficult for a prostitute to become a lady. It is possible, like the Empress Wu, who started out as a concubine in Chinese history, but it is much more difficult than the opposite. So let's be real. The standard template for a woman's behavior in the sexual marketplace today is to engage in casual sex without commitment through their 20s.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Here's a licensed psychologist. I'm a licensed therapist. We're just talking from a logical perspective. But, women like Tanya Stevens and Miss Leaks, because they have schemas, when you tell them the truth, they will either fight you or they'll flee because they're deaf. They have a cognitive distortion. They can't hear what you're saying because they are deaf. You're not saying anything wrong. But see, when you bring new information to their mind, they have what's called a cognitive break. They can't receive it. So they just snap. They can't receive the truth because they snap. And, that's why I tell you guys, don't waste your time. This man's a licensed psychologist. He's an author. Dr. Jordan Peterson is as well. Dr. Helen Smith. I did a show with Dr. Helen Smith. I'm going to critique. I already start cutting that video up. And I'm going to, I might even react to my own video with her. I think I'll do that as a prequel. I think I'm going to react to that video. But don't waste your time, guys. I'm going to start doing different content. Might even start a whole new channel. So to my new subscribers, I've got something cooking. Either I'm going to modify this channel totally, or I'm just going to start a whole new channel and just only do streams on this one.
And then settle down into marriage around 30. That is, they want to enjoy the social freedom of a prostitute for 10 to 15 years, and then they want the respectability of a lady for the rest of their lives. And unfortunately, that doesn't make sense to men.
Tanya Stevens, is not whether or not I'm speaking the truth. I would target you by saying that, do you understand the truth and can you receive the truth? And it's obvious you can't, because your worldview has been skewed based on your indoctrination. So the question is not, do I know the truth? The question is, can you receive the truth without having a cognitive break? And it's obvious you can't, because you're just talking out of your head. And so I'm not going to even entertain you anymore unless you give me super chats. I'm not going to put your comments up. You're going to pay me for me to have a conversation with you because you're not my equal.
It's often been said that art imitates life. And when art imitates life, it asks us the question, why are we seeing the things that we're beginning to see? In this show of the Kosher Clinician, we will be exploring the dark triad and the dark triad personality traits that are often seen in modern women. We will be exploring Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and also narcissism, as those three traits appear to be prevalent in modern times. We're going to explore the definitions associated with those three variables, but also we're going to be exploring some of the celebrities that could or more or less appear to have some of those traits. As I said earlier on this stream with Art Imitate Life, it appears that later in the past that some of the women that we're going to be talking about, like Meg Thee Stallion, Monique, and Jada Pinkett, is a reflection of modern women. Did you guys know that the vibrations that other people send out as signals can more or less be impacted inside the psyche of a man through subliminal cues, or also through the subconscious? We're going to explore how the Medusa complex, a term that I created, defies or more or less explains some of the behaviors associated with modern women, as many modern women appear to have the Medusa complex. The Medusa complex is a complex that often leaves many women petrified when they look within the mirror. They can't see themselves because if they saw what they really are, then they will actually crack under pressure. And many would say that the Medusa complex is a byproduct of a condition called cognitive dissonance. But that's not the topic of the show. The topic of the show is to explore why many appear to have the Medusa complex. And could it be that the Medusa complex is a byproduct of the dark triad, which in essence includes Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and narcissism? Sit back, relax, and enjoy this show as I bring it to you live from the greatest state in the union, the Tar Heel State. And I need you men to remember this as we seek to bring balance to the union as it relates to relationships in modern times. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. Have you been a victim of the dark triad forces that more or less have invaded your life? Have you been a victim of modern women that seek not only to understand your needs as men, but more or less aggrandize their needs at the behest of yours? Enjoy this show, support the show, share the stream, and let's get this show popping. Be well.
Yes, sir, guys. They can't handle the truth. You can put the truth on their forehead, and they can't handle the truth. Dr. Ron Taraban is a licensed psychologist, and he's gotten a lot of hate from people because they don't want to hear the truth, and it's okay. You just gotta laugh at them. It is what it is. You can't waste your time arguing with the fool. You just can't. You just gotta let them go on by, fall on. Sometimes when I'm learning with people, guys, the best way for folks to just let them fall by the wayside. Let them fall off. Folks will either learn through reason or they will learn the hard way. And it's literally that simple. And some choose to learn through hardship. And so it is what it is.
She said, oh, enjoy that. Oh, by the way, introduced herself, asked me, was about to give me her card. I was like, here's my number. I gave her my number. I resisted. She called me 2 hours later. The rest of that story on another stream. The point is this, guys. Women like assertive men. I did not know that woman. I didn't need her to pay for that. I was just shit testing her. I was just seeing what was going to happen because I was in a happy mood. But that reminded me of things that I already know. And why have you guys never heard this side of me? Because as a businessman, as a brand, I have to balance, telling guys to be the best version of themselves. But by me telling you these truths, I have to also consider, man, that may be frowned upon by the powers that be.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Because look, to think we live in a world where there are no rules and you can go around and say what you want and just keep it real. Keeping it real can keep you broke. But that even reinforces the message, the fact that I can't tell you as a man.
And Kevin Samuels is correct. I can't keep it real. Because he's right. If you keep it real, you'll be broke. And that's why I'm not making money like some of the other YouTube content creators. Because you got to play the game. It's not because I'm afraid not to play the game. I mean, to speak the truth. But if you tell the truth, you're going to be broke. You're going to be broke if you tell the truth. If you tell the truth, you're going to be broke, guys. It is what it is. And that's why, I'm going to start having to, in order to survive and just have peace, sometimes I'm just going to have to know when to pull the plug, man. Sometimes I got to be able to, I'm going to speak. Sometimes I'm just going to sit back and observe. Because at this stage of my life now, I ain't got time to be arguing with fools. It's and just being honest, because he's right. Being honest will keep you broke.
And things that I know that are successful. I didn't take advantage of anybody. I didn't do anything. That woman was attracted to me. She looked at me in a certain way. I knew that there was something going on. So let me round this back to the point I want to end on. Men, we need. If you're a man living in the city right now and you're having trouble with women, first off, you need to stop listening to women. You need to stop listening to married men and men in relationships. Don't listen to them. You need to listen to the single guys. Married men, my focus as a married man or a man in a relationship, it was completely different than my focus as a single guy. Thought completely differently. My motivations are completely different. Men need to start hanging around with more men. If you go out with 2 or 3 guys. Learn how to work together. Back to the college stories. The reason why we would go out in college parties, on college campus parties, and everybody would walk away successful scoring that night is because we all knew the rules. It was like Top Gun. We knew how to play the wingman. Sometimes you had to go talk to the fat ugly chick so your boy could get laid. That's what you had to do. But it was all successful because you see, 4 women, if there's a group of 7 guys, every guy is gonna score. You've seen this thing being enforced in Top Gun, A Beautiful Mind. This is not new knowledge. But as men, after we leave college and go work our careers, live in the city, we don't have male relationships, so we end up going out by ourselves. Yeah, you can look good, smell great, and everything else, but unless you are an extremely confident, intelligent, and assertive man, you'll lack the real world experience or the real world information to go out there and challenge your beliefs and try these things on your own. That's why a lot of people work with pickup artists, because the pickup artist can actually take them out into the world and show them how it works. I don't publicize this, but I have a segment of my business where I do this. You'll see that I write online dating profiles, but I take guys and work with them one-on-one and show them real world how to interact with women, because we have to relearn stuff. We have to unlearn what we've been taught. First of all, period, point blank, end of sentence.
I agree.
If you're born after 1970, you have to unlearn what you've been.
I agree with Kevin 100%. It's called self-recovery. I jokingly tell my clients, you got to unlearn what you've learned. I tell men that. A lot of men have been indoctrinated to placate to women. You don't placate to anybody, man or woman, for the slow folks, man or woman, without a fair exchange.
Talk. And especially if you're raised in the United States. If you're raised in the black community in particular, and if you have a single parent household, a black woman raising you, yeah, you've been taught this. I am woman, hear me roar, strong, independent, blah, blah, blah. All that crap's in our head. Women don't like that.
And on top of that, too, I still say fundamentally, even though Kevin went from being a simp to a millionaire, his premise was still that man should pay all bills, and not seeing it totally through the lens of a traditional masculine man, because men back then didn't pay all bills for subpar women. They paid all bills for certain types of women. And so I love Kevin, but there were some areas where I didn't agree with him. And I don't believe men should pay all bills. Only certain women deserve to get all bills paid. 90% of most women in America don't deserve that. Not all bills. They might deserve 50-50 or 60-40 or 70-30 or 80-20 or 90-10 or 95-5. Those are the 95-5 and all bills are the elite women. Or the 90-10, the 90-10 women and up are the elite women. The decent women are the 80-20 women. I might have to do a show on that, the 80-20 woman. The 70-30 woman. But most are 50-50 women. They deserve 50%.
Now, why can a man walk around with a man bag, smelling good, looking good, and the women who love men know I'm a man, the gay guys know I'm not gay? You know, because that's a hold up a lot of times. I mean, I dress, you know, that's a lot of reason guys dress the way they do now. It's like a show of manhood. If I can be sloppy, sagging, all this other kind of stuff, I can overtly show my masculinity No, dude. No. Because if your mindset is still feminized, simpish, you gonna still end up simping behind a big booty apple bottom. You can be a simp and a sag all at the same time. You can be simping in a fitted or a snapback. You can be simping in Timberlands. You can be simping in an Armani suit. Simp is a mindset.
It's a mindset.
I can walk around just.
But there's a conscious one and there's an unconscious simp. But it's definitely a mindset.
Like this, in my man bag, the guys will sit for some guys be like, I dig that. Oh, some guys be like, man, no homo, that's gay. You know what? I've told you this before. All the times I hear guys saying that kind of stuff, I laugh at them because I be smashing a girl. Bottom line, I know me. I'm confident in me. I know what I am. I'm assertive and I go for what I want. Guys, you have to learn to go for what you want to. This was me, I wanted to make this quick video because I didn't get a chance to answer Sean's question in chat, and he did super chat yesterday. I'm not going to answer any questions right now. I'm going to go ahead and do a live stream tonight at 8, following up on these topics. But here's the thing. If you doubt what I'm saying, if you come to live stream tonight. If you are having trouble with women, come to a live stream tonight, because guys who are confident do better. But there's a difference between confident and egotistical. Egotistical guys are like Donald Trump. Donald Trump he's a perfect example of alpha male behavior, but it's egotistical. You have to be, when you can know you're egotistical when you can't listen to good information and make a change.
That's true.
See, guys who are confident can listen to good information.
Right. I don't mind listening to wise counsel and advice. I agree with him on that. I wonder if Kevin would have listened to me with my position. I don't know. Maybe he would have. I would love to have had a conversation with him. Maybe he would have, maybe he wouldn't. But he's correct. I'm confident and I can take another position. I don't have to agree with it, but I can respect it.
Information. Take in good information and make a change, because they'll know they'll get a better outcome. Egotistical guys, it's my way or the highway. Tune in tonight at 8 for more of this. Now, here's the thing. If you like this kind of content, I need you guys to show it by liking, come to a live stream, invite more people, because for me, I'm gonna just put it really, really out there. As a menswear personal stylist, fashion and fragrance, that's a nice, happy topic. Life topics, especially with the state of online and YouTube right now, I'm even taking a risk by telling you the truth. Yep. And I haven't even broken.
Listen to what he just said, man. This was a powerful video, and I didn't even realize Kevin said that. And I'm gonna stop doing. Yeah, like I told y'all before in the past, me doing the content I'm doing is risky because I'm putting my license on the line. But I'm gonna have to stop doing that. Not because I'm doing nothing wrong, but it's not mainstream. And is it worth me messing my livelihood up? Being honest. I mean, maybe once I get a certain bandwidth, or maybe once I get a lot of money doing something with my, but just being honest and just talking from a man traditional perspective, masculinity now is seen as a mental illness, guys. Being a man now is seen as a mental illness. And it's risky, man. It's very risky. Yes, only certain women. Most get McDonald's. Few get 5-star treatment. Yeah, yeah, free agent. Yeah, most get McDonald's. Most get McDonald's, man. That's why I said, I love Kevin, but no, man, we're not paying all no bills. It's only certain women get all bills paid. They the 100%. It's certain types that get all bills, but I'm not paying all bills for a woman my age. Or a woman that's not a virgin. I'm not doing that. And neither should no man. And you're right, Dino, truth is dangerous, yeah. So at my age of 54, do I want to keep telling the truth and fighting the system? Or do I just, I'm just going to tell the truth when I need to tell it, but, be instant in analyses and be careful how I do it. Not saying I'm afraid, but you get to a certain age, you just want peace, man. You get tired of fighting, man. And Kevin Samuels proved my point about he was introjected as a man. He see things through the lens of a woman.
Have I said anything that's disgusting, inappropriate, that couldn't get on national TV? But you want a sure way to get shut down on some social media platforms is say the truth, be real. That's a sure sign for getting targeted. But I'm going to rely on you guys to tell me if you want to see more of this kind of information. If you don't, I won't talk about it anymore. All right. If you want to hear more, show up to live.
And so once again, they laughed at Kevin Samuels, laughed at him until the man passed away. They laughed. So I'm going to have to be careful how I move, guys. Not because I'm scared, but it's a cost benefit analysis. Do I stress myself out and get peanuts and lose my livelihood, even though I'm not doing nothing wrong? Or do I go to another niche, have the chance to make, millions of dollars, make $1 million a year, or have the chance to make big money and be more broader? Because like I said, most folks are not a clinician like myself. And my profession is very female dominated. And it's very liberal. And the world don't want to hear what the world only want to hear what men is thinking under the lens of female approval. And so black men have been double jeopardized because we're men and also we are black men. White men are catching hell too. So anyway, guys, shout out to my man, to all that donate. Shout out to brother Sir Gregory. He's the #1 sponsor. Shout out to Gregory. Shout out to brother Ray Johnson. Shout out to Quiet Storm. Shout out to all the brothers. Soar Seed and everybody else that donated. If I miss your name, please forgive me. And I'm gonna start looking at doing some different things, guys. I still do some kosher talk from time to time, but it just proves to me that delusion's at an all-time high. I got my banner there is truth is stranger than fiction, and delusion is at a all-time high. Truth is stranger than fiction, guys, and delusion is at an all-time high. And they're highly delusional now. So anyway, guys, thank you for everybody tapping. I'm going to get me some walk. I'm going to walk. I'm going to get this Planet Fitness membership. And I love all you good brothers. I love the good sisters that tapped in. Y'all have been special. Shout out to the good sisters. And guys, we're living in turbulent times. We're living in what the Bible called the last days. And the Bible said in the last days, they don't want to hear the truth. So anyway, it is what it is. Shout out to the Angry Birds too. And I'll be seeing you guys soon. Y'all take care.
Kevin Samuels missed this core talking point in expecting men to pay all of the bills. Why Kevin?
So I'm gonna put this thing up here. Yes, sir. Here we go.
Samuels missed this core talking point in expecting men to pay all of the bills.
I want her to respect your masculinity and your manhood because you have an XY chromosome. It don't work that way. Women respect resources. You can't check a bitch because you got nothing to check with. The only place you dominate is in the bedroom. Dominate on the balance sheet. Dominate on your wallet, which is your accomplishments. Any woman that you choose to deal with, her money should be no good with you if you're 100% man. You pay everything.
I didn't agree 100% with everything Kevin said. I don't believe men should pay all bills unless that man is getting something in return. If he's getting a higher value, a higher quality woman in return, yes, pay all bills. But you gotta understand, Kevin Samuels at one time was a simp, and I'm not saying this to denigrate Kevin, but Kevin will tell you that Kevin went from being a simp to being a multi-millionaire, high-value man. Kevin went from being a simp to a multi-value, high-value man. And so Kevin Samuels was not raised in a home where he had a father like I version of himself. But what's happening there, women like Lisa Ray and some of these older women, they've either had kids or ran through, they want to tell men, they want men to pay all the bills. And, Kevin Samuels was a brilliant man. I love Kevin Samuels. But
how can women, Lisa Ray, before they get married, are there any telltale signs that you can warn women who are dating wealthy men, what they can look out for in case he is involved in some shady financial scams?
First of all, he's not going to let you know, because a real man is just like a drug dealer. The girlfriend don't know about his drop off and his people that he get his supply from. He keeps her out of that because that's the man's thing. That's his position. Let me tell you, I have, had a drug dealer or two, back in my day. And I didn't know and ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen nothing. I can't tell you. And one of the officers that questioned me was like, well, you didn't see him getting up going to work every day. I said, I don't see you getting up going to work every day either. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean you ain't working. You know what I mean? I maybe I did turn the other cheek or whatever. Yeah, okay, I did know. But still, I had never seen anything. You know what I mean? So that therefore, I could never be in the middle of anything. And I'm sure he thought about that. If they question you, you ain't gonna even be able to say anything because you ain't never seen nothing. You kept me out of it. So your businessman is the same thing. They're not gonna let you know so that you under pressure and you gotta tell. No, I'm gonna keep you out of it, period. So it's protection is how they're thinking about it.
For your time, because being a content creator it's hard. It's not an easy job. So it's definitely psychological manipulation. It's what the current culture is telling men they should do. But masculine men don't let women tell them what the standard is. She become what the standard is. And if she don't become the standard, then that's fine. That man keep going on to the next woman. That's why I get perturbed when I hear some people say level up. I say level up for what? Now, should a man level up for himself and level up for what's best for him? And, leveling up to put himself in a position to get the best woman that he can get, and the best woman that he can get based on standards that are symmetrical to what he worked in, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But leveling up for whores and leveling up for ran through women and leveling up for women that got kids by other men, what am I leveling up for? What am I leveling? Because let me tell you something, people, like what my father got back in the day.
I did go ball without you. I just say bye, then I miss you. Wanna control what I do. She's such a beauty with issues. Baby, we can make it so simple right now, yeah. Something in your past must be weighing you down. So your attitude, they be bossy. Feeling like the past, keep on pulling back. Baby, be no longer the old me. I'd do anything just to hold you. Maybe you too bossy. I just wanna hear you say you want me. You know how to get me with that body. Baby, keep it simple when you too bossy. Girl, we go way back. Can't treat the love like a payback. Working on the trust, so I get that. Nothing come close to my baby. You've been through a lot, hate to see you down, yeah. Only thing that matter is we got now. So your attitude, they be bossy. Feeling like the past, keep on pulling back. Baby, they no longer the old me. I'd do anything just to hold you. Maybe bossy. I just wanna hear you say you want me. You know how to get me with that body. Baby, keep it simple when you too bossy. Maybe you too bossy. I just wanna hear you say you want me. You know how to get me with that body. Baby, keep it simple when you too bossy.
Here's my addiction. This beauty nothing compares. She put me under her spell, yeah.
When men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over.
Nigga ass, loser ass nigga.
Your video with comments about a
He's a
certain
loser.
other female.
Just to let you niggas know we don't need y'all.
We want y'all, but we don't need you.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings. And most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
You can't.
If you a that's for the streets.
You can't delete the ski. You can't delete the ski.
I know a who used to suck dick every mother.
My perfect man would be a tall black stallion. He loves to cook because I'm not really a good cook, so that's his thing. He loves driving. He loves driving the kids to school in the morning. He's just really, really hands-on, with my kids. He's sterile because he can't have kids of his own, so he really cherishes mine. He's funny. We do movie quotes all the time. Every time we go around, we just laugh and do karaoke. He's smart. He is very good with the money. He takes care of all that, and he just lets me, make the beds and just do me.
I'm just
susceptible.
Fire for your mind. The Kosher Clinician.